Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And today I am here with artist Dom Martello. I am so glad to have Dom here with us. How are you today, Dom?
Uh, Doing well, doing well. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. It is, my pleasure to have you here today. Go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about your art and what you do.
Yeah, so I do a lot of different kinds of art. Recently, throughout quarantine, I've been doing a lot of digital work,
Mm-hmm.
just because it seems to be the most accessible right now, not having to go out to get art supplies in art stores, and it's also easiest to distribute and communicate with. So I've been doing a lot of digital renderings lately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently working on, which I know this is shocking, but I'm currently working on a Surface tablet. I'm not using Apple products on that, which is fun, because I feel like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people think that the only way
Is
to
with
do
an
it is with an iPad
iPad.
and the Apple Pencil.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I feel like that is what most people use. But yeah, currently that's what I'm using.
Yeah, so you transitioned to digital. So tell me about the pandemic
Hmm.
because you are an artist. So you've adapted by transition into digital. What kind
Yes,
of works are inspiring you right now? What kind of works are you
right,
producing digitally?
right. So I besides digital art, I'm also an actor and a writer.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it really, really hard throughout quarantine to continue writing.
Mm-hmm.
I found that it was just very difficult to uh, write anything really, and
Yeah,
I was finding it hard to finish movies or start TV shows. So I was like, I just need to do something. So
yeah.
that's when I made the transition into working digitally.
Ah, I
And
see.
then yeah, and before then I had worked doing some portraiture on Photoshop digitally,
Mm-hmm.
but not to the capacity that I'm doing now. So I think what inspired me originally, I was trying to provide um, accessible, cheap, easy portraits that were just something to give people to keep themselves entertained. And but then there came the turn about halfway through quarantine where the Black Lives Matter movement really started to take off, and I was originally quarantining at my parents' in which is in a small town in Ohio, and I didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
car, and so I didn't feel like I was able to participate like at all because I was,
Yeah.
and so I made two stickers, one of Marsha P. Johnson and one that was a digital rendering of a picture that was from Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to end up going to 5 different print stores before they would print them.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, so I had to go through 5 different places until I eventually found someone in Ohio that would print them. And then I sold those
Wait, so
online. Just
why was it that the others would not? What was the problem there?
well, a few of them said that they didn't want to do something that was politicized.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and then a few of them, I messaged them for their rates, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, these are our typical rates. Send us the image," and then just never responded. Um, so
My God. Oh
finally
wow, the
found,
Ohio jumped out.
yes, the
The Ohio
Midwestern,
jumped out.
exactly. And then so I got them made, finally got them, went and bought as many stamps as I could, went
Hmm.
and got all the envelopes so I didn't have to go to the try to do all of it as contactless as possible.
Hmm.
And then I sold out within 30 hours on
Oh
those.
wow, really good.
Between my two campaigns, I've raised, because I raised and am donating. I've already donated the first campaign. I'm currently working on the second campaign,
Hmm.
and I've donated 100% of the proceeds and production costs to Marsha P. Johnson Institute, the Emergency Relief Fund, and the Equality for Flatbush. All three of them are organizations that support between. Uh, the first two specifically are for uh, trans people of color.
Color.
Yeah, and specifically the emergency release fund for them for legal fees. And
Yeah.
then the Equality for Flatbush is a really cool organization that was originally based just for Flatbush, but then has spread to the rest of Brooklyn, that helps fight gentrification and police brutality.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
that's what I've been doing a lot of. And then I was like, oh, I'm out of money. So now I've been doing a lot of digital commissions, mostly are nude portraiture and stuff like that.
So I was just going to ask about that because the very distinctive thing about your art is nude
Yes.
portraiture. And I know you sent us a couple, but we've got the more PG
Yes.
version, you know, the light version, I would say. So, but tell me about nude portraiture. For example, do you create the art with the person in the room? Do they get nude and you do it, or do they send you a picture? Do you imagine
Sure.
it? What's the tea? What how does that work?
So I mean, right now in quarantine, it's been, so that one, for example, I think what's really interesting is if you look at like Renaissance, or even if you go to school for visual art, or if you take a visual art nude portraiture class, there's nothing sexualized about the idea of having a live nude model in front of you. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing that is explicit about that idea.
yeah,
But then I think that when you start to get, like, for this one, for example, he's holding an iPhone.
yeah.
And so then it has the connotation of like, this is a nude or explicit image. But why is this an explicit image,
Yeah.
whereas something that is more in the classical art form, not an explicit image?
Yeah, I
And so
mean, there are so many sculptures and art and everything from
exactly.
classical and from antiquity that,
Hmm.
you know, with naked people, you know, lots
Exactly.
of dicks, lots of
Lots.
tits, you
Yep.
know, many, lots of
Yep.
that.
Exactly. And so I think, like, it was something, so this is from a different series, but this is something that I haven't published yet. This is,
Ah,
yeah, so and then I felt, so this is kind of jumping ahead, but then I felt that I was like, oh wow, I'm getting commissioned by a lot of um, cis, predominantly white bodies, and
mhm.
I don't want my body of work to just reflect that.
Yeah.
So currently, I'm working through a collection where I am doing portraits, and I think the next one that I sent you as well is from this collection.
This one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the previous picture was of drag artist Miss Toto, who is a Chicago-based
Ah,
activist and drag queen.
yeah.
And this one is a portrait of Marjane Disrapi, who is a graphic novelist. And so I'm making a collection of the women of color who have just educated me through their existence. I get really, really irritated with the idea that white artists, especially white gay artists, perpetuate this idea that they have a quote unquote inner Black woman. Um,
Yes.
and I think that is, uh, when I first heard that concept, it was in a play called White. And I was like, that's, people don't do that. That's not real.
Hmm.
And then I moved to New York and I met a lot of other white gay artists. And I was like, oh no, that is real. They do say that. And I was kind of blown away by that. And I've struggled with this collection because I don't think I have the right to have a body of work of Black and brown women. But at the same time, I think that so many white people refer to their inner Black woman, or because women of color have specifically had to raise the bar so many times when being artists or activists or
Yeah.
politicians, which is what the body of work is going to consist of, so that their art and their body of work is usually just better because they've had to work so much harder to enter it into the mainstream.
Definitely, definitely.
So the body of work is more about, it's going to be the graphic, and then next to it an explanation of the project and an explanation of my first interaction with that artist or person, how
Ah,
I how I came into knowing their existence. And so it's more about a project that is an educational project and being like, these are people that just through knowing their body of work, I was able to educate myself. Like, you need to do the work to educate yourself on this perspective. So
yeah,
that's what I'm working on right now.
I love it. I love it. Now,
Yeah.
question: if I
Mm-hmm.
wanted a nude portraiture,
Mm-hmm.
how would I go about doing that?
So the way that I do it, I'm actually currently talking to a lawyer about this, just to have like an official notarized documentation, because it's all over the internet.
Yeah.
Right now, what I'm doing is at the very beginning, if someone contacts me for a commission, I say, what kind of commission are you looking for? Is this a regular portrait? Is it a nude portrait? Is it an explicit portrait? And I think that there are those three, like, there are three classifications. Like, there's a nude portrait, which I think is one thing, and then there's an explicit portrait, which is another thing.
Like an
And so
explicit one would have like cum shots and stuff, or just
I
like
haven't done any of those.
okay.
But I think it's a subjective conversation on like what
Okay.
is explicit. But I think if I
Yeah, I wonder if
personally
I
feel
can
like
say
it's
cum
explicit,
shot on YouTube. I wonder.
well,
Well,
will
I already
I.
did, so.
But yeah, so I then if they want a nude or explicit photo, I say before we proceed, I need proof of age. So I make them send me a government issued ID, a photo of it. And so that's the next step in my process, and talking to a lawyer and getting an official document that says that I understand the intellectual property. I confirm that I am of appropriate age to get this done. And then I have another step on there that is this a private piece? So is this just a personal piece this is a commission that you are just getting for yourself that you don't intend on sharing? And I've had a few of those and I really like doing those because I started making these because I have struggled a lot personally with the swinging between desexualization and hypersexualization of my own body, being comfortable with my own gender nonconformingness and being able to feel comfortable in my own skin and sharing that, and also being an actor and being like, well, I can't post pictures of myself that are nude or explicit because then that decreases my value as an actor when I go to do nude scenes. And like in the book that I'm writing, it gets very graphic, and so like trying to mesh all of
it's a hard line to toe, you know.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So I originally just made the first nude portrait that I made was just for myself because I wanted to have something to post that I felt comfortable posting, that was a way to share my own journey of becoming accepting of my own body. And then I started to get the commissions, and so I really like doing them because I think especially as someone with like body dysmorphia, having access and comfortability just to have those. So there's a section on it, and it's worded very specifically on the document that says I consent to have this image shared, or this is a private. And so you click one of those boxes on whether you'd like it to be a public or private image, because I still, as an artist, like to attain the intellectual property to those images. But I like to respect and celebrate what the intent of the piece is. Definitely. So then, as of now, what I do is they send me the image that they want me to base the piece off of. So then I take the piece and I split screen on my tablet where I have the image open, and then I have a digital canvas open. And I use, this is not a plug, I use the Renaissance Echo S5, I think, pen, because I tried just using the Surface Pen and it was like, you're getting nowhere with it. Having tilt is very important. I've learned that very quickly. But yeah, so that is what that's the process. That's what it looks like.
Oh,
and then,
I love it.
Yeah, and then I make I save it in different steps, and so you get depending on what you want, you get the rough sketch, you get a watercolor version of it, you get the digital splash, which in
Ah.
the pink image, it was like a black and white splash in the background. And then you get like a few other ones that are more for me, which are more artistically digitized,
I see.
outline color pop. So you
Wonderful.
get
And what would you
uh,
say what are your rates like for a commission?
so I personally believe that everyone should have access to art. I
Yeah.
don't like the idea that art is an elitist format. I have been, when I tell other artists this, they're like, no, you need to be charging more. Like, you can't be doing that. And I'm just like, but I do a sliding scale.
Hmm.
So I set this is what I like to get paid for this kind of work.
Hmm.
And then it's a conversation from there. So
Ah,
my commissions go for as low as 10 to 15,
oh wow.
as high as 50 to 60,
Okay, wow,
depending.
that's
So
really reasonable. Wow.
yeah, I like to keep it, and like eventually I will probably have to raise them purely just because of I've been getting more than I like also to do a 2 to 3 day turnover on them.
Yeah,
So I'm starting to get a little bit backed up on it, but even if I were to raise my prices, I would still do at like for every 3 or 4 commissions that I do at full price, I would do a few sliding scale projects. So
uh,
because like I said, I don't think that art should be something that is exclusive to people that can afford it.
of course. So if people wanted to get in contact with you, to follow you, to support you, to do all of that, go ahead and let us know how they can do that.
For
And
sure.
plug anything else you want to plug if you want people to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Instagram is just Dom_Martello. That is my personal account.
Hmm.
And that's the same for Twitter. So my Twitter and my Instagram are both Dom_Martello. My graphic art page is needlepoint_nudes, NUDEZ. Uh,
Hmm.
I started the page because I was making explicit needlepoint. So if you go far enough back on so it's now needlepoint and graphic design because I have
Hmm.
added that component. Um, so feel free to follow those, check those out. You can get in contact with me easily through either of those channels, or my email, which is just dom.b.martello@gmail.com. Easy to get in touch with me there. Look out for the book that I am currently working on. The first draft is done. It is an autofiction that is an anti-chronological account of me breaking a cycle of abuse. If
Ah,
you are a publisher, please email me. Get in
definitely.
contact. A book deal would make it so much more incentive to finish this first draft. My copywriter hates me. Uh, but yeah, other than that, that's all that I have to plug.
Of course.
Oh,
Listen, thank
also
you. Yeah,
follow Miss Toto, sign some petitions, donate to all of the things that you can. It's still happening. Please continue to do that.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's not done yet, and please wear a mask.
The
That's all
fight
else
is
that I
still
have to.
on. Yeah.
That's all that I have to plug.
Thanks so much, Dom, for joining me today. It's been
Thanks for
such a
having me.
pleasure. Of course, this was fun, and hopefully we get to do this again.
Yeah, I would love to.
Thanks so much.
For
Thank you.
sure.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.